Okay, so last week what we have covered, uh, we have covered SU53 or not?
Uh,
Last week have we covered SU53 like missing authorizations? How to get missing authorizations?
we did. I don't think we covered that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the
Okay,
role.
we covered up to tables and reports, right? Okay, so today we cover missing authorizations. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, in today's session, we see how we can find out the missing authorizations of a user. Okay,
Okay.
if any user gets you are not authorized message, okay, you need to execute SU53. Okay, so by default SU53 will be provided to all users. Okay, like SU3, SU53, these are all called as generic T codes. These generic T codes will be created in a role. Okay, so a role will be created by using with all these generic T codes, and it will be assigned to all the users by default. Okay, so if any user executes a transaction code, or within the transaction code he executes any, he try to executes any a particular specific action. Okay, whenever he gets the message you are not authorized, in the same screen you need to execute slash and SU53. So then we can find out the, then he can find out the missing authorization screen. You need to send it to security team. Okay, if business user gets SU53 screenshot, okay, then he need to send it to security team to analyze the data and to assign or to provide appropriate role. Here we can see how we will get SU53 and how we can provide the appropriate role based on the SU53 screenshot. Okay. First we will create one role. Already there is a role. We just give a create authorization for the users in this role. Go to authorizations tab. in authorization data, we just give him only creation authorization. Then if we try to execute change user IDs or delete user IDs, he will get you are not authorized message in the status bar. So he need to execute SU53. It is taking much time today.
Yeah, sometimes the server is slow.
So SU53 displays last failed authorization check of the user. Okay. So that by using SU53 screenshot, we can find out appropriate rule through AGR tables. Okay. Through AGR 1251, we can find out the rule based on the authorization data, right? And once we find out the roles based on authorization data, and we can find out the appropriate role according to user arg values through AGR 1252 table. It is taking them today. Why it is taking this much time?
Are you directly logged into the server?
Yeah, I directly log into SAP. Okay. So go to s underscore user underscore grp. So this s underscore user underscore grp, we can restrict users to a specific action, okay, like create, change, delete, or display. Okay. So we can restrict users to a specific action. See here, what are the actions already the user is having? See here, create, change, display, lock, delete, display, archive, and assign. Okay. So we are removing all these actions. We just keep only create permission to the user. Okay. We are keeping only create permission. Okay. Save. Okay. Save only generate. So actually we haven't assigned SU53, right? We've forgotten. So provide SU53 T code to user.
So did you just assign that C53 to the role or to the user?
Yeah, in the role also you can assign SU53 in any way. Directly you can assign it through a role, existing role, or you can create a new role to him.
Okay.
You can create a new role and you can assign it.
Okay, thanks.
So normally in real time, uh, we create a generic role like using for all these generic T codes like SU3, SU53. Okay, we will create one role by name everyone and we assign to every user. Okay, that role by default. By using SU3, users can fill his address data and parameter IDs, defaults. Okay.
Okay.
See, through SU53 we get another S underscore user underscore GRP, right? This one. See, here it is saying this is new object, okay? S underscore user underscore GRP, and this is the old one. So in the old one, okay, we have restricted only 01. In the new one, by default, all values came, right? So we have two S underscore user underscore GRP objects. In the S underscore user underscore GRP objects, we are having two values. One is new and the second one is old. Okay. So just this deactivate new one. Okay. So here there is one icon to deactivate. Okay. Just deactivate it. Because already we are having the values for S underscore user underscore GRP, so that I am deactivating new value. Okay. Okay. So we are having 01 value only for activity field for the S underscore user underscore GRP object. Okay. So now save and generate profile.
The old value was for a different T code, right?
Yes.
And the new values is for a different T code.
Yeah. We have added one more T code, no? SU53.
Yes. And the old T code was SU01. So
Yes.
the values we changed just for create was for SU01. And you want to keep the same values for the SU53 as well. Just want to give the change authorization, right?
Yes. That's why we have deactivated one value. Okay. So is log into SAP through A12345 user ID. Okay. So A12345. See here, click on this user menu button. Okay. So that user will get only roles who have been assigned to him. Okay. And right click on the screen and click on settings. To display technical names. Okay, click on display technical names so that we get the T codes here. Okay, so now execute SU01 so that user
So what can we put at under alias?
Alias. For internet users, to use internet, we need to provide alias users.
Okay, so I tried putting the same username, like when I create a new user, I tried putting the same name, it doesn't take it.
Yes. So here A12345 is able to create user IDs. Okay. So if we try to change our display, see, we will get this "you are not authorized" message. Okay. Okay. So now we get this message while uh, trying to change user IDs. The same we will get when we try to display the user ID, and the same we will get to we'll try to delete and same we'll try to lock the user, and the same we will get while try to change the password. Okay, so how many missing authorization you got up to now? For change, display, delete, lock and unlock, sorry, change the password. Okay, total 5. Okay, so whenever user gets "you are not authorized" message, okay, you need to execute /n su53, okay, in the same screen. Okay, so execute here /n su53. Okay, so whenever user gets this "you are not authorized" message, he need to execute /n su53. So this is the su53 screenshot for the user A12345. Okay, just expand it. See here, authorization check failed. Okay, just click on it. See, it is saying that activity 05 and the user group super is missing from the user master record. Okay, and what user contains, what are the existing authorizations of the user for this object. See, he is having only 01 activity and user group star. Okay, so but here it is saying user is missing 05 and user group. Okay, so here we can find out for this object s underscore user underscore grp. Under this object there are two fields, activity, user group. Okay, under this object for this field activity 05 is missing. Okay, the same for this object and for this field user group super is missing. Okay, so if the user unable to send you the SU53 screenshot, so as a security admin you can execute SU53 and you can click on this display for different user button. Okay. So this is SAP user, okay, like security admin. So we can execute SU53 and we can find out the SU53 screenshot of the user. Click on display for different user, and here provide user ID A12345, and click on execute. So this is the missing authorization of the user A12345. Okay. So whenever user get that message, he need to execute /n/su53, and he need to expand all the nodes, and you need to send this screenshot to the security admin. Okay. So now we find out. So for this object s_user_grp, for the field activity 05, and for the field user group super have been missing. So now we can find out appropriate role by using these missing values. Okay. So to find out, execute SE16, SE16 execute AGR underscore 1251 table. See here the object field. Okay. So provide which object? s_user_grp is the object. Okay. Provide s_user_grp. Okay. And for the field activity. So we are having two fields, right? SCTVT, that is field name. Okay. And one is user group. Okay. Activity 05, and execute. It displays it generates a list of roles. So alternatively, we can use SUIMT code also. Instead of using this AGR1251 table, okay, we can use SUIM also.
Is it another table or it's an easy way, or is there a difference between
Other transaction code? Okay.
Okay.
SUIM is the other transaction code. By using SVM also we can find out the roles.
Okay.
Why are we going to this table? Instead, can we just go to PFCG and go to authorization tab and just add the 05 to the value, the field value, and get this thing result?
Yeah, okay. So there we can add this 05 value. Okay. So then the value, this user gets that 05. So here what will happen if we change it directly in the role, okay?
It's going to affect
So
other users, right?
other users also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is why we are providing already existing role to this user in his user master record.
Mm-hmm.
So here 40 tables came, right? So now go to SUIM. So this is the SUIM. SUIM. So just expand the roles and click on this roles by complex selection criteria. See in the object, authorization object field, provide S underscore user underscore GRP. Okay. And click on this entry values button. Click on entry values. Okay. So here it is displaying fields of that object, user group and activity. So provide user group is super, right? And activity is 05. As per SC53 screenshot, so user group super and activity is 05. Okay. So super and 05. Now we can execute. So it generates a list of roles, and among those roles we need to find out the appropriate role for the user.
So can we do a comparison with another user from the same team or same job title?
Same?
Same team, same department. For example, if this user is a sales from the sales department,
Mm.
can we find another user from the sales department and compare the user ID, compare the authorization, and see what
Yeah,
which
we
one
can.
is?
Yeah, we can compare.
Okay.
In this SUIM only there is the option to compare roles and users also. Okay.
Yeah.
So here it provides 80 roles. Okay. Okay. So again execute SC16 and go to AGR1252 table. Okay. See here it generates a list of 80 roles which contains S underscore user underscore GRP with activity value 5 and the user group super. Okay. So among all these 80 roles, we need to provide only one role to the user, right? So to find out appropriate role for the user, copy all these roles. Okay, copy all these 80 roles and go to AGR1252 table and copy these 80 roles here. Like in the AGR name field, go to multiple selection and copy for the upload from clipboard. Okay, so copy 80 roles there and we have pasted here. Okay, so then here we can provide the user based on user arg value. We can find out the appropriate role for this user. Okay, say for example, if user belongs to specific company code, here we need to check based on his company code. So here $bookers is the company code. Okay. Suppose user belongs to company code 1000. Okay. So based on his company code, we can find out the appropriate role among these 80 roles. Okay. So now if we execute, it provides the AGR name. Okay, which suits for 1000 company code. So we need to assign this role to the user out of those 80 roles. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Clear?
Yeah. I'm okay.
But this AGR name, the AGR name was created just when you on the screen just when we pasted those 80 roles, those 80 things. That's when we got the AGR name, right? So how did we see the AGR name is on the top, just CA940 underscore plus. So how did this one help? Like I just did not get it.
Yeah, AGR1252 na?
Yeah.
Yeah, through AGR1252 we can find out roles based on arg values.
Okay.
So organization values are nothing but different from authorization values. Okay. So what is the derived role concept? In the last previous class we discussed about derived roles. Right?
Yeah.
So we can based on the geographic area, we can restrict users to a specific company code or plant code. Okay.
Okay.
So by using those arg values, we can find out the roles here in AGR1252 table. Okay. See here, based on authorization value in AGR1251 table or in SUIMT code, we can find out these 80 roles based on his authorization values, like S underscore user underscore GRP is a authorization object. Okay. In that object, user missed the authorization value 05 for the field activity. Okay. So based on that authorization values, we can find out these 80 roles. Okay. So out of these 80 roles, we need to assign only one role to the user.
Yeah.
Okay. So for that, to find out that single role, we came to AGR1252. Okay. And we have copied all those 80 roles here in AGR1252 table. Okay. So, and then we provided company code of that user. Okay. If the user belongs to 1000 company code, okay, out of these 80 roles, we are asking the system that to display the role which suits for company code 1000.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is why we have provided here company code $bookers and value 1000.
Yeah.
Okay. So that system displays a single role which belongs to company code out of those 80 roles.
Okay.
Okay.
So which is that single role?
This one only.
That's
T
the
underscore. Yes.
that's the AGR name.
Yeah, AGR name here.
And that has a role. That has a role name as well, right? So.
Yes, role name. AGR name is nothing but the role name.
But this AGR name, that T underscore PLM 400 has 80 roles inside.
No.
No.
This is only one single role.
Out of those 80.
Out of that
Out of those 80.
Yes.
See where. So these are all 80 roles. Okay. What is that role? T underscore PLM 400. PLM on.
It will be above, once above.
See this one.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a single role. So all these 80 roles are having S underscore user underscore GRP object and 5 value 5 for activity field and the
I
user
got it.
group super for user group.
I got it. Okay.
So out of these 80, we found out only one role which belongs to this company code 1000.
What if there were two roles, and how would we, then is it okay to give any access to any role, or just?
Yeah. Normally in real time, which role is assigned to more users? Okay, we will assign that. If two roles are assigned to same number of users, we need to contact his manager.
Okay.
Okay, which role need to be assigned?
Okay.
Okay.
So are these single roles or derived derived roles?
This one,
They are single
okay.
roles. Yeah.
Yeah, we can find out whether it is single role or derived role.
Mm-hmm.
Go to AGR underscore define table. So AGR underscore define table displays the relationship between single role and parent role.
Yeah.
What is that role? T underscore PLM 400, right?
Mm-hmm.
T underscore PLM 400. If it is a derived role, it need to be displayed. See, there is no parent role, right? So this is a single role.
Okay, got it. And another question here would be, okay, we found out which role, will be appropriate for the user with his company code and his company or value, whatever that is. But that single role must have more values. Say, for instance, it
Yes.
has 0.5 as well as 0.6 for delete, and another value, a 0.2, for instance.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
we
Yes.
want to restrict him to 0.5.
05.
Yeah, right now we are just supposed to give him access to the 0.5 value, which this role contains 0.5 value, but this role might even contain more values, access to more
Yes.
values, which we do not want to
Yes.
give to the user. So how do we define that?
Yeah. Here, okay. Say normally through SU 53 screenshot only, we provide access to the users. Okay. So whether it may contain additional values or not. Okay, normally it contains only those values only. Okay. So if say for example, if we have such doubt, okay, we will see this in the PFCG. Go to T underscore PLM.
Does Control C and Control P work in SAP for copy and paste?
Yeah. Yes, yes. I am using Control C and V.
Okay.
So normally through SU53 we can get the only last failed authorization check. It displays only last failed authorization check. Say for example, previously user first try to change user IDs, okay, then also he got you are not authorized message, then he tried to change display user IDs, then he got you are not authorized message, then he tried to delete user ID, even then also he got the same message, and then he tried to lock user ID, okay, again he got same message, and finally while trying to change password he got this message you are not authorized, okay. While he after he executed SU53, system displayed only 05 activity, right? Only it displays last failed authorization check. Before he got same message for 02, that is change 03 for display, and 05 for delete, sorry 06 for delete, okay. But through SU53 we can find out only last failed authorization check, okay. To get all the failed authorization checks, okay. See here, go to this find button and go to this object s underscore user underscore grp, click on find. So this is the user groups. Go to utilities and click on technical names on s underscore user underscore grp, okay. It is having only 03 and 08, right? So but here we provided 05, no? For 05 also it displaying same role. So it is a dummy role, I think. SAP has given some dummy data, no? Some dummy business data. So this is the standard role provided by SAP. Okay. Okay, we can check it here in a PFCG. Okay, roles and role values. Okay, so here it is showing only 03 only for activity, and user group is a star. So if you choose another underscore
So
SAP,
that give access to all the values.
we need to uh, prepare all these, we need to create all these roles like with a single specific value. Okay. So we need to create roles with a, for a specific values, like we need to create one role for 05, one role for 03, like that, so that we can provide that role only to the company codes. Okay.
Got it.
So this is just this is IDS system, no? So this is only data given by SAP for practice purpose. Okay.
Got it.
So here, what happened previously? So user also got not authorized message for 02, 03 and 06 also, right? But here it is showing only 05. Okay. So that is nothing but, see here. So SU53 provides only last failed authorization check. Okay. See here, it is for 02 value. Okay. And it is for 03 value. Okay. And it is for 06 value. See here. So it is for change password. But whenever he executes SU53, he gets only last failed authorization check. That is for change password only. Okay. But it not SU53 cannot provide 100% of missing authorizations of the user, right? It provides only last failed authorization check. Okay. So to get the all missing authorizations of user, we need to take trace of that user. Okay. We need to take system trace. Okay. See, for example, here I will take the trace for this user A12345 so that we can get all his missing authorizations. Okay. So get the trace, execute ST01. Okay. By using ST01, we can get the trace of the user. But before going to take trace, in real time, we need to know in which application server user logged in. Okay. So normally here we are having only one application server. Okay. But in real time on production system, okay, production system may have multiple application servers. Okay. So if we execute SM51, SM51 T code displays the list of servers, list of application servers. So here we get only one application server only. Okay. See here, this is the server name. GCECC62, that is the host name. Okay. Host name. And ECC is the SID, system identifier, our system name, and 00 is the system number. So this is the server name. So in this way, in real time, we can have multiple application servers like GCECC62 underscore ECC underscore 01, okay, underscore 02, 03, okay, like that. So an SAP system may contains total 98 application servers. Okay, up to 98 application servers we can install for a single SAP R3 system. Okay.
So is
So
there
first we need,
sorry sir, is there more than 98 application in SAP?
yeah, if you want to add more than 98 application servers, okay, you need to install one more SAP server.
Okay.
So in this way we can in SM51 we can get the list of application servers. So first we need to find out the in which application servers user logged on. Okay. See, for that we need to execute AL08. So AL08 is the T code to display the active users. That is nothing but list of users already logged into the SAP system. Okay. See here. See, this is the GC ECC62 ECC0100. Okay. This is the application server name. Okay. Under this application server, these users are logged into the system. Okay. SAP user A12345. Okay. So here we can find out in which application server user log into the system. Okay. Once we find out this application server, again we need to execute SM51. So execute SM51. So select the application server in which user logged in. Okay. Select the application server and click on this remote logon button. Okay. Click on this remote logon button. Select the application server and click on remote logon button. Okay. So that in that application server only we need to execute ST01. Okay. Because the user may log into one application server, we may log into another application server. Okay. So that we need to execute ST01 in the application server in which user already log in. Okay. So now execute ST01. Go to menu, edit, filter, shared. Go to menu, edit, filter, shared. Okay. Here we can get the trace for users, transactions, programs, as well as work process number also. Okay. But here in security we get the trace for user only. Okay. So provide our username A12345. Okay. And select the here authorization checkbox. Okay. Select authorization checkbox and click on save settings. So we need to save these settings. Click on save settings button. Okay. And now click on trace on. Click on trace on. Okay, now trace is switched on for the user A12345. Okay. Now we need to uh, send a message to user that you can perform your activity right from the beginning. Okay, so now if we try to execute change, okay, I got okay. So all this SAP user already exists. Okay, so now we need to get the trace for this user. Okay, already performed his activity in SU01. Okay, so now we need to go to system trace ST01 and click on analysis button. Click on analysis button and provide the username as A12345. Okay. Just delete time here or provide exact time of the server. Okay. So now execute. Okay. So server time will be different from your system time. In real time, server is having some other time and your time will be some other time. Okay. So that is why make sure that provide server time, exact server time, or you can delete this time also. Okay. So now we can execute. See, this is the trace. First we need to save it to a local file. Okay. So click on list export local file. Choose HTML format. Click on save. View file name, desktop, trace one, save. Okay. See here it is trace one. Yes. Okay. We got the it successfully exported. Okay. Now here go back and click on trace off. Okay. We must off the trace for this user. Okay. So we can get the trace for a single user at a time. So we must off the trace after taking the trace. Okay. We must off the trace. Okay, trace switched off. So now go to our saved file and we can analyze it. Okay. See, this is the date and time. Okay. So this is the object and this is the RC. RC is nothing but a return code. If the return code is greater than 0, okay, that will be a error. Okay, see, return code is 4. Okay, so actually return code is 4 in the sense actually user is having this object. Okay, return code 4 means excuse me. Okay, return code 4 means user is having this object but with some other value, some different value. Okay, so even though it is error also, like RC4 is nothing but error, but all the user is having this object but with some different value. Okay, so here it is showing C 02 for change. Okay, and next again RC4 02 03, that is for display. Again RC4 activity 06, that is delete. Again RC4, that is for activity 05. Okay. See here, finally we try to create user ID. Okay, for that RC0 is nothing but successful. Okay, that is for 01, that is create authorization. Okay, so he got missing authorizations for 05, 06, 03 and 02, and his current activity is 01. Okay, so like this we can get the trace for the user. Okay, clear?
Yes, clear, sir.
So here we need to remember before taking trace we need to find out in which application server user logged in. Then we need to log into that specific application server and we need to make take trace. Okay, in that application server only we need to execute ST01 and we can take the trace of the user. Then we can find out the all missing authorizations. Okay. So once we find out all these missing authorizations, we can find out the role in the same way through AGR table or through SUAM. We can find out the roles based on these authorization values. Okay. Once we find out the list of roles based on authorization values, we can find out the appropriate role based on his organizational values. Okay. Yeah, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
But is it very important to go into that to find out what server the user was logged in, and it cannot be done from any server, or you have to? I mean, why do you have to use into that server? Because everything is recorded in that particular server. It is not. What do you call?
Yeah, that is exactly in that server only we can take the trace of that user, because in any other user may not exist.
Right.
Oh.
Right. For example, the user may belong to the finance and control, the FICO, and then there's production, like production planning, and the different application, right? So if so, you need to know, you need to go into the right application. Is that correct?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because most
Normally,
company, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So normally, basis people creates logon groups. Okay, say for example, if a company is having 20 application servers, okay, so they can assign these 20 application servers to different people, like different departments, like three application servers for FI people, and three application servers for SD people, and three application servers for some other module, okay, PP, like that, okay. So out of these three application servers, okay, suppose for FI people we have assigned three application servers, okay. So whenever the user log into the system, out of these three application servers, which will be free, okay, at that particular point of time, which server is available, the message server, okay, the message server automatically log into that server, okay,
Yeah.
out of these three available server. So that will be automatically done by the message server. Okay, we cannot log into our specific system, or our we cannot say that I need to log into 01 application server or 02 application server. Okay, that depends on message server only. Okay, we cannot force to the system. So please log into me into 01 or 02 server. Okay?
Yeah.
That purely depends on message server. So which server is available at that specific time, okay, we can log into that server. Okay?
Yeah. So now suppose if I create one username, assign a password, assign him a role for F5 for instance. Now there are three servers which are designated for the F5 module or the F5 people.
Okay.
We create a login, we create roles. How does the login, like when the user logs in anywhere, in the company, how does the like how does the user, the server knows what server to log in when the user is logging in from his client? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So that depends on is assigned logon groups. Okay. So normally basis people create logon groups. Okay, and they provide users to different logon groups based on their business functionality.
Is that the same group that we spoke about in SU01?
No, no, no. That is different. That is authorization groups.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So this is logon groups. Okay. Why they need to create logon groups are to handle load, to balancing the load on the application servers.
Got it.
They create logon groups.
Okay.
That is purely for performance issues.
Okay.
To distribute the load equally to the all application servers, they create logon groups.
And the basis people are responsible for that,
Yes,
right?
yes, basis people. Okay. They will install additional application servers, and they will create logon groups, and they will assign users to different logon groups.
Okay.
So directly we cannot say I need to log into this server or something like. Okay, only message server is the responsible. Okay, to maintain the load of the application servers. Okay, so when we try to log into the system, okay, message server checks internally which application server is available. Okay, to log into this user to server. Okay, so that it checks for internally, it checks all application servers and which one is available. So there we can log into that specific application server. Okay.
Got it.
So internally that can be handled by message server. Okay. So that is why. So we need to first check out in which application server user logged in.
Okay.
So in that application server only user can perform his activities. So in that application server only we can take the trace of that user. Okay. So easily we can find out AL, if you go to AL08, we can find out the in which application server user logged in. Then if we go to SM51, we can see the list of servers.
Got it.
So then select that server and click on remote logon button, and we can directly log into that application server, and there you can get the system trace.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we are having only one server only, but real time we may have multiple application servers. Okay. So that is why first we need to check in which application server the user logged in.
I have another question. When we run the trace for the user, there were different colors. There was a light green, there was a dark green. Does that color represent something?
Yeah.
Like when we went to the trace, yes, these colors. The activity 05 is light green. The 02 is green. Does that represent how we
Yeah,
find?
yeah. This is the only this what we call it as a text. These are the header. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the actual our authorization, missing authorization. Like here we can see the S underscore user for which authorization object, for which field, okay, okay, for which value missed. So these are the actual missing values, okay, in the second row, light green. This yellow is nothing but the information of the application server.
Okay.
Like client, user, a transaction, which transaction SU01, okay, and which date.
So
This
this
is
is
what
only
process.
missing authorization. So anytime the system gives you an error message, only then this thing pops up, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. But any transaction which goes on smooth, it won't show up under the trace.
No, 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 nothing.
Okay. Okay.
So if you can, then also we can take trace, but all RC will be 0.
Okay.
Okay. Then also we can take trace, like then we can get values like this only. For this object, RC is equal to 0. Okay. So
Which
RC
means
is equal to 0 in the sense here.
yeah.
So RC is equal to 0 in the sense, so that is successfully executed.
Okay. And RC4 means it's not
RC, yes, RC4 means something missed, like 05 is missed.
okay.
05 is not having 05 value for this field under this object S underscore user underscore GRP.
Got it. Got it.
So here uh, then how we can transport roles. Okay. So here how we can transport roles. So normally at the implementation time we need to create all roles in development system. Okay. So okay, after creating roles, okay, we need to transport these roles to the quality and then production finally, right? So to transport these roles, so normally basis people need to configure TMS, transport management system. Okay. See here, to transport role, you can give the role name in PFCG and click on this transport role button. Okay. So then click on execute. Click on continue. Okay. So normally without user assignment only we can transport roles, because in development system we don't assign roles to any users, right? So normally we transport roles without user assignment. Click on continue. Okay. So here a request, how we can transport any object, whether it is a role or above program or any object. Okay, by using a change request we can transport objects from one system to another system. Okay. So here click on create request. Okay. Give some short description. See, this is the change request. So this change request naming convention is SID. Our SID is ECC. SID is nothing but system identifier. Okay. So normally system identifier SID is the name of the system, and it is a 3-character alphanumeric value. Okay. So this is ECC is the SID. SID K9. Up to this level, this would be the standard value. The remaining 5 digits are variable values. First time when we create a request, it will be created as a SID K9 followed by 5 zeros. Okay. So after that, every time the number will be increased. Okay. Whenever we create a new request, the number will be increased. Okay. So in this request, we can assign, through this request we can transport that role. Okay.
What is the own request?
Own request. So previously if we created requests, okay, it displays our own requests.
Like the 0302.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, this is the own requests of user, SAP user. Okay. So here we have created now. Okay, if you want to assign this role to a already existing request, so you can select here. Okay, go to own requests and you can select, and we can assign that role to the existing one also. Okay. Click on continue. So now we assigned that role to this change request ECC K9 00004. Okay. Okay. So the following roles are entered in transport request. This one, the role. Okay. So now go to SE01. So here we just assigned that role to this change request. To transport this role, execute SE01. So in SAP, we can classify data into two types. One is client dependent data, and the second one is client independent data. Okay. Client dependent data and the client independent data. So client dependent data is the data that can be accessible once we log into that specific client number only. Okay. So on the client independent data is the data that can be accessible from any other client.
What do you mean by clients?
0102.
Or 0102.
Client is a 3-digit numeric value. Okay. Here our client is 800. Okay. Within the same system, Okay, we can create different separate environments.
Okay.
So the client dependent data is the data that can be accessible once we log into that specific client number. Okay. So client dependent data exemplar, user master data, and authorization master data, and customization data. These three types of client dependent data. Say for example, if we have created this A12345 user ID in 800 client, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you log into another client, any other client like 810 or 811, we cannot see that user ID.
Okay.
Okay? Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. In the same way, authorization master data also, like we have created role underscore SU01 here in 800. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot see that role in any other client except this 800. Okay? Because it is a client dependent data. And the client independent data is the data that can be accessible from any client. Say for example above programs. All above programs are client independent. If we create a above program in 800 client, okay, that we can see in any client number. Okay, that above program can see in 810, 811 or 820. In any client number, we can see that above program. Okay, so that is the client dependent and client independent. So in SAP, the data can be classified into these two types: client dependent and independent. Okay, our all user IDs and roles are client dependent data only. Okay, so to transport client dependent data, we use customizing requests. Okay, to transport client independent data, workbench requests will be used. Okay, these requests will be created by the system automatically based on the data. Okay, if you transport a request, if you want to transport a role, system automatically creates customizing request. Okay, if you want to transport above program, system automatically creates workbench requests only. So we no need to specify create customizing request or create workbench request. Okay, so system automatically creates these requests based on the data. Okay, see, click on display here. See this is our change request, right? See, for example, this is the customizing request. And this is the workbench request. The workbench request is created for some other program, I think. This is. Okay. So now this is our role. Okay. And this is for each and every change request. System creates task ID with the next number. Okay. 5 is the task ID for this role. Okay. We can assign, if you assign another role to this change request 4, system creates another task ID like 6. So like that we can add a number of objects to this change request. Okay. So that system creates task ID for each and every object. Okay. So before transporting this change request, first we need to transport all task IDs. Okay. So first we need to release this task ID 05. Click on this release directly. see the here tick mark. So the task ID has been released. Then select change request and click on release directly button. So once we release the change request here, the change request will be transported from this system. Okay. See that request gone. Okay, so that we have to successfully transported that role from our development system. Okay. So if we go back and check, okay, so if we check released request status, if you choose released, then it will be displayed under released. Okay. Okay, clear?
Why do we transport just from one client to the other client, right?
No, we are not transporting this one client to another client. We are transporting this role from one system to another system.
One environment to another, right, sir? So we don't, when we create in a real situation, we don't
Yes.
create the role in the real system. We do that in the development.
Yes.
Transport it to
Exactly.
production.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
I'm sorry. We transport from development to quality. Is that what you said, sir?
Yes, development to quality. Then
Quality.
after testing their in quality, then it transport to production.
Okay, so there's three different environments: development,
Yes.
quality, and
Yes.
then goes to production.
Yes.
Okay.
But we did not define the quality development and the production will have a different client number, right?
Yes.
So we never defined like what client number we are transporting role to. I never saw any option where it said, okay, we are transporting from client 800 to client 820 or 810 or anything like that.
Yes. Here we just exported from our system. Okay. In which client we are? So in which client we have executed SC01? In 800 client only, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that in 800 client only the role exists. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in that client only we can transport that role. Okay. So then in the target system, whether it is quality or production, okay, where it need to be imported. Okay. So while importing itself, we need to mention that in which client we need to import that role. Okay. See here, go to execute STMS. STMS is the T code. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we can configure transport management system, and here we can import the objects.
Mm-hmm.
So log into target system and execute STMS and click on go to menu overview and click on imports.
Is that our job as well, sir?
Which one?
Importing, is it our job or basis team?
No, base team only.
So basis team will take care of that.
Yes, we are no way relates to this STMS T code.
Okay.
I just showing you like how we can import.
Okay, thanks.
See here we can get all the systems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once we click on import now,
Mm-hmm.
we can get all the systems. Okay, our development, quality, production. Okay, all our systems will be displayed here. Just select the system in which you want to import it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and select. There will be one more truck button displayed here.
Yeah.
Okay, in real time, there will be one more truck button, that is to import.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, So once we click on that import button, system prompts you in which client you need to import.
Yeah.
Okay, then you can define so and so client we need to import that role.
In what situations and scenarios will we have to transport roles or users?
Yeah, normally at the implementation time we need to create all the roles in development system only. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we need to transport these roles from development to quality and production at implementation phase. Okay.
Okay.
So at support phase, normally what will happen? The support phase already roles will already have been created, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we assign these roles in for users only in production system.
Yeah.
Okay. So already roles have been created at the time of implementation. We just assign these roles to users in production system. So in support phase also, we need to assign these roles to the user IDs. We need to assign or remove roles. Okay. So all these activities will be done on production system. Okay. So normally users will be created on production system, and we just assign the existing roles to the users on production system. Okay. So if you want to make change, if you want to make any change to the existing roles, say for example, if you want to add additional company code or plant code. Okay, say for example, uh, we have created one company code 1000 for India. Okay, then we have created some other company codes. Say for example, in Kashmir, or we have created one more plant code. Okay, we have established one plant code. So already we have only we have plant code 1000 in the existing role. Okay, you need to add this new plant code to that existing role. Okay, how can we add that new plant code to the existing role? Okay, so in development system only we can make changes. On production system, okay, we never make any changes to the role or any object, whether it is a role or ABAP program or any object. We never make changes. We never make any changes to any object on production system. If you want to make changes, you need to done it in development system only. Okay. So if you want to add additional plant code to the role, okay, then you need to go to development system, and in development system we need to add that plant code. Okay, go to PFCG and open that role, and go to org levels and add additional plant code like 2000. Okay, save and generate profile and transport it to production.
Testing and then
Yes, testing and then finally to production. So in that way we can make changes to the rules and we can make transports. Clear?
clear.
Got my point?
Yes.
How we need
Yeah.
to make this? Yes.
Yes. And another question: as a security person, now we transport the roles, and then the basis guy have to complete the import part. So our role is just to transport the role, and that's about it, right? Nothing else. And they are the ones who will be importing it.
Yes, we
Okay.
just export it. Okay, basis people are responsible to import.
So we basically just make it available for them so that they can import the role, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
And
Okay.
do we do anything in the production system? So, like
Pardon?
adding roles to users. Do we do that? Any of those tasks in the production system? Like in the production system, do we assign roles or anything to the users, or it is taken care of by the basis team?
No, to assigning users.
Yes. Like let's say
Yes, yeah.
there is a new user, we need to create a new user ID. Do we do that part, or it's going to be done by the basis team?
No, no, our part only, that is creating user IDs and assigning.
That's our part, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
our part. Because we only know which role need to be assigned to that user and which
That user.
that role contains, what that role contains. We only know that.
Okay. Okay. So what we basically we create the roles and we create the objects in the development system, export it, and then wait for the let the basis guys import it and take care of the transportation from the development to the production system, and then when there is a new user um, or new user or user need any roles added, we take care of that.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. And
Yes.
is it different like when as a security consultant, do we is it different being a security consultant in the for example the finance and control module, and then on the other side for example material management or account receivable, account payable, is it different for each different section of the SAP application?
No, no, no difference. Okay, see, for example, if you want to create a role for a SD module,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we need to know the T code. Based on T codes only, we can create authorizations, right? So if you want to create a role
Mm-hmm.
to create sales order,
Right.
okay, for that we need to know the T code VA01. VA01 is the T code to create sales order. Okay,
Okay.
so VA01 T code will be provided by functional people only.
Okay.
Okay, so and then if you want to create a role for the department, like if you want to create a purchase order, if
Okay.
you want to create a role for the creation of purchase order, okay, then we need to know the ME21N.
Okay.
ME21 is the T code to create purchase orders. Okay,
Right.
so these purchase orders and these T codes will be provided by functional people only. So
Function.
each and everything will be provided by functional people in a technical specifications.
Okay.
Okay. So in that T code, uh, which value we need to provide for which object, for which field, everything will be provided by functional people only. Okay,
Okay.
because we don't know about all the T codes.
Okay.
Okay, there will be, these are the normal T codes like VA01, ME21. Okay, some other T codes also will be there.
Right.
Okay, we never come across those T codes. So
Right.
we don't know those T codes. We need to um, get the knowledge through functional people only,
Functional people.
because they know about their module.
Right.
It is practically it is not possible to know all the T codes and the functionality of T codes.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You said we also transport users as well as the ABAP program. Is that our responsibility for ABAP program or somebody else does that?
No, no, no. The above programs will be transported by above itself.
Okay. And how about users?
Users, no, we don't create user IDs in development system.
We only do
We
that.
create user IDs in a production system itself.
Okay.
Okay, normally business users only will log into production system, right, along with our support team. Okay,
Yeah.
so these business users user IDs will be created in production system only.
Okay.
Okay, no need to create user IDs in development system and transport to production.
Makes
Directly we can create on production system.
And in the testing environment, sir, testing system, we can create users to test the roles and the objects we created.
Yes, yes. We create testing team user IDs and testing system, and we can provide the roles based on their functionality.
Okay. All right.
We just assign roles on production system or quality system, any system. But the roles will be created on development system only. We just assign these roles to the users in the respective systems, quality or production.
Okay.
Mhm.
Normally user IDs will be created in their respective systems only, but roles will be created on development and need to be transported to quality and production.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm clear about transport.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay.
So tomorrow we move to some other topic.
Okay, great.
Okay. Just if you have time, just go through this missing authorizations and okay.
Sure.
Then if you have any doubts or queries, uh, we can see tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, and talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yash, and thank you, Raj.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.